So thanks, Franz, for taking the time. The topic for today is logistics and the trends in logistics, how technologies react on that, obviously specifically SAP.
Mm-hmm.
So, but before we go into that, perhaps you can first say a few words about yourself and about SAP.
Yeah, Franz Hero. I'm responsible for supply chain development at SAP, and how we define supply chain is everything from designing a product, manufacturing it, all the logistics around it, so to bring the stuff to a manufacturing line, from a manufacturing line to the customer, asset management or maintenance, and the planning. Planning will be a very important topic today, I guess. And also a new topic we started last year, a complete new business unit around business networks. Networks in logistics, but also asset management. So the whole design to operate portfolio. And many years with SAP, worked in different regions, at the moment here in Europe at our headquarters, close to Heidelberg, but also spent a couple of years in China and in the United States.
Okay, thanks. So looking at SAP, what is typically the scope that you cover for your clients in logistics?
Yeah, so SAP is known for business software, starting from finance, procurement, and so forth, human resources, but also manufacturing and logistics and supply chain solutions. So the scope in logistics is logistics execution, so it's transportation management, and it's warehouse management, so also called supply chain execution platform, because also tightly integrated to that. And then also the surroundings around it, like yard management, if you have several warehouses on one yard to cover the yards, manage the inbound and outbound logistics. And of course now we are spreading also the reach of our solutions into the network, like logistic business network, because logistics has a lot to do with collaboration between the shippers who would like to transport something and of course the logistics service providers. And then you have this triangle, the shipper, the supplier of the shipper or the customer of the shipper, and the logistics service provider to move the stuff to the production line or from the production line to the customers.
Yeah, very interesting. What do you see as trends in logistics? I assume this network thing is one of the trends that you see. Yeah, probably more.
Yeah, so the network, I think logistics is the network business.
Mm-hmm.
And this will, of course, this will grow, and it has. We started also a big program at SAP around networks, not only logistics networks, but also, of course, networks, how to collaborate with suppliers, how to collaborate with customers, with manufacturing subcontractors, and so on. And the SAP stands for ERP software, Enterprise Resource Planning Software, and we are moving from an ERP vendor to an NRP vendor, Network Resource Planning, thinking now the ERP one step further to move from the four walls of a company beyond the four walls into the network. So that's one trend. The other one is, of course, I think everybody talks about Corona, COVID-19, and the effect of logistics and supply chain, and that we have to build more resilient, more agile supply chains, and that has, of course, also a big effect on logistics. If there is something good about a crisis, it focuses the lenses, it focuses on the important things. Mm-hmm. And I think everybody experiences now that supply chain and logistics is a very important aspect of our life. So get the stuff into the retail stores or from e-commerce vendors to you and me. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we all experience some shortages. We have to wait long on bicycles or on toilet paper. We know all these examples. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it focuses the senses. And now the question is how to build agile and responsive and resilient supply chains. And it starts with planning. Planning is, so to say, supply chain planning, the brain of the supply chain. So we model the network, so the warehouses, distribution centers, but also manufacturing sites, the customer locations, the supplier locations, we model that in a network, and we call it the so-called digital twin of the supply chain. And now the first thing you have to do is predict the demand, forecast the demand. And we all know nothing is more difficult than look into the future. And of course I think we are working on this since 20 years, look at the history of the sales patterns and predict the future. But this doesn't happen in crisis. Because in the crisis you don't have a history. So you need then also other input factors, like social sentiments. So collaboration, again, network effect between the retailers and the consumer products companies, because the retailers, they sense very early what is going very fast, where we need replenishment, and what are the slow movers. So to get more information into this forecast algorithms and tools, that's the first thing. The second thing is now the demand is fluctuating very fast. Now you have to react also on your response, on your supply planning on that. So that's one thing. On the other side also, the supply can vary very fast. We also experience that now because China had a lockdown for 2 months and nothing was coming from China for 2 months. So what are you doing? So you need different sourcing strategies then. So that's another thing. So that's the supply chain planning. So first of all, that has nothing to do with logistics. And now you have to translate this now into this plan into execution. Execution very fast into manufacturing, and they have to act as agile as the plans are changing, and logistics. It's the same way. And that's the reason why we need to think this end to end and connect the planning with the transportation planning, with the warehouse logistics, with the suppliers. So very clearly, I see the future in the integration of these different disciplines. I think of course we still are working on warehouse automation. And new technologies are coming there. We all know the AGVs, the autonomous guided vehicles. They're coming more and more into the warehouses. We have to see how we orchestrate all these robots on the shop floor and all the automation technology. Doing the next step in automation technology. Of course, this is a trend and we are working on that. But that's not that it's really a big step forward. It's, quote unquote, just a next step of productivity gain. The same in transportation management. We see transportation management also planning. We still can do quite some things. We're just working on, let's say, pallet building, big pallets into make the trucks full as possible. It's like Tetris. The automatic planning, and we are working here with leading consumer products companies on that. But that's also, let's say, a smaller step. The bigger step is really thinking in the network and make all the pieces work together.
Yeah, interesting development. Yeah. So, and what's SAP's reaction on the trend?
Yeah. So, where do we invest? And we started a couple of programs last year. So, say 3 programs. One is the Industry 4.0 program. So Industry 4.0, it's not a new thing. I think it's a couple of years around, a little bit more. It's all about the automation of digitalization of the plant, but also beyond the plant, also into the business processes, so feed the plant, and then also from the plant, the outbound logistics. So Industry 4.0, it's one thing. And we organized Industry 4.0, or why do we do it now again? Because we think now through the digitalization is getting an acceleration now. And if you look at the adoption really of Industry 4.0 principles, it's still pretty low. I think most of the companies, manufacturing companies, they have pilots running or proof of concepts, but they don't really scale it globally. And now through also the crisis, and it's not only Corona crisis. I think we have one crisis after another. It's the Brexit, it's the tariff discussion, it's now the Corona. The next day will come, and we have to live with this. So we will see an acceleration, digitalization, specifically in the supply chain and logistics space. And that's the reason why we started with Industry 4.0, and we have 4 themes there. It's the intelligent product we are producing with intelligent assets. The intelligent assets with intelligent assets, you are building an intelligent factory, and of course, empowering people. Really empower the people on the shop floor and make sure that we have a safe environment. The second initiative was the business networks thing, and we created an own unit for this. And why an own unit? So you may say a logistic business network should be part of logistics, or an asset intelligence network should be part of asset management. But we said a network must be independent from the backend system. Mm-hmm. Really independent. It must work with SAP, with non-SAP system, and that's the reason why we created an own unit around that. And we talked about this before, the importance of networks. And we are investing also in networks big time. And the third initiative we have is everything around logistics, to have a seamless integration from, we call it the one process, is supply to line. And we are doing that with automotive because we as co-innovation customers, because we think automotive is leading in this inbound logistics. So mm-hmm. from the supplier through the logistics service provider, really just in time, just in sequence to the production line to do the next step here, and then of course also picking it up from production line to the customer. So that is the third initiative we are investing heavily. So overall, SAP in supply chain is a growth area within SAP, because we also think that supply chain is moving from, let's say, a cost center activity or saving cost activity to a differentiating activity, because it's all about keeping the service level for your customers. Mm-hmm. And we also a conversation with a leading consumer products company, and they are really organizing along value chains. A value chain is, so you have a product group, a product line, and you have a customer group, and now you have a team, one person who is responsible for this product line, for this customer group, for the service level. So he has to make sure that this customer group is getting what it wants. And therefore, they need the full responsibility from the demand generation, or from the demand forecasting to the delivery. And they need all the tools integrated in order to make that happen. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So and that is clearly it's clearly not a cost center activity. This is a differentiating activity. So and that's also the reason why we are investing big time in supply chain. And I would say also now for the crisis, even my ma is understanding how important supply chain is, and she said to me finally also, now you are doing the right things, because she never understood what I'm doing.
Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So that means SAP is going, new out here, which is very exciting to see. So is that something your customers see already, and they can touch that already, or is it still in the beginning and is it in the development stage?
No. The customers are, they're also nervous. So
yeah, right.
It's all about digitalization and acceleration of digitalization now, specifically, and all the people who are responsible for supply chain and logistics, they have to come up with plans.
Yeah, indeed.
What are they doing?
Yeah. Yeah, it's clearly following a market track. So
it's becoming also a CEO topic. It's not only COO topic with all the operation guys, but it really is CEO topic, and they have to present a plan to their CEO what they are doing. And of course here we are helping. So with the planning thing, we call it synchronized planning or value stream planning, so integrated planning. It's a huge topic at our customer base. And we are also offering, we tried a new offering during the Corona crisis. It's about a BPO offering, a business process outsourcing offering. So we are working together with partners, so the Accentures of the world, IBMs, and the implementation partners, and they are doing the planning for the customers based on our tools.
Right.
To accelerate the adoption.
Right.
So they don't have to implement the software and so on. So they can use it. And now it's, of course, good that we invested in cloud software before, because you only can do it if you have cloud software.
Yeah.
And we see also acceleration into the cloud. So it's not on-premise software, using the stuff in the cloud for fast acceleration. So the planning thing, it's a big topic. And the other thing, it's really, we talked about supply to line, and building this robust, resilient, very agile also logistics to feed your production line, but even in crisis. It's also about supply chain design. Before it was really all about cost, bring down the cost. But it's now we also see how important it is to have a resilient supply chain, so that you can really ensure also the supply of the components you need to build your products. So we see also, let's say, a nationalization of the supply chain. So some of the things will come back to the countries where also the demand is. For the critical components, and also, of course, redundant supply chains, to have more than one supplier in different regions for the same component. These things, and in order to do that, in order to automate the business processes, in order to integrate the business processes, of course, you need digitalization, and digitalization is, of course, implementation of software. Software capabilities, Industry 4.0 capabilities, and of course here we are bringing a lot to the table. But it's not only that you are bringing, let's say, point solutions to the customers. The productivity step is really in the integration of the different disciplines, of the different applications.
It's a very interesting part of that. So what do your customers see as the main advantages of working with you in this area? I think all of the above. Are there any other specific areas where you would say, that's hot at the moment?
One thing is, of course, just having leading applications. I think we are very strong. We have a very broad portfolio, and SAP stands for integration. So we have, of course, also the goal that we have best of breed solutions in every area, best of breed transportation management, best of breed warehouse management solution, and so forth, but also then delivering the integration. That's our competitive advantage. The global reach, we are a true global company, so of course, if you run mission critical components like a warehouse, an automated warehouse or big distribution center, this must run 24/7. And you can rely on SAP. So we have a global support structure. We can react very fast if something is going wrong. Of course, on the other side, the security aspects. SAP stands, of course, also for data privacy, security, data protection, and these things. And we have a lot of business know-how. So we are a really reliable partner, working with our customers to make them successful in a very close collaboration.
Right. Okay. Thanks, Franz. It was very interesting.
Thank you.